Hey guys, it's Chris here. I'm coming to you from a place I normally don't come from, my kitchen. So what I want to talk to you guys about today is product photography. So this is how to take photos for Amazon, make good quality photos for your Amazon listings, and how to edit them to make them Amazon compliant. Now, I think that making Amazon listings is something a lot of people avoid because they think it's hard. And it definitely can be challenging. But the thing that I think the biggest hurdle is, or at least what people perceive to be the biggest hurdle, is the photography. They think that you need to get a light box, you need to have a $1,000 DSLR, you need to have thousands of dollars in lights, all this stuff. You don't need any of that. All you need is a few things that you already have around your house. So I'm going to take some photos here with you guys today, show you some tips and tricks that'll help you take really good photos for Amazon. And we're just going to use stuff you probably already have around your house. I assume you have a towel, some boxes, and a cell phone. So let me first give you a couple quick tips to make sure you get the best results. Number one, make sure your product is clean. Okay, I have a book here I'm going to take photos of. There's some fingerprints on it. So you would want to go through and wipe them down with something that's going to be a lint-free cloth, especially if you're going to take photos of glass. That's really the hardest thing to photograph. Any flaw, any little piece of lint is going to show up. So wipe it down. You can buy lint-free cloths from the dollar store and use some alcohol to wipe it down. Works like a charm. Then use some gloves. Okay, vinyl gloves work, or you can use cotton gloves, whatever works best. I actually wear a pair of suede gloves when I take photos. Just because I'm fancy like that. But I learned how to take photos from taking jewelry photos. So in jewelry, you use suede gloves for a number of reasons. So make sure your products are nice and clean. You also want to have as much light as possible. I actually am only using my overhead light and this window that's right here. And you might every now and then see my cat flick his tail. He's in the window right now. There's some neighborhood shenanigans going on that he's got to monitor. But you want to have as much light as possible, and you ideally want the light to all be the same color. So you don't want to use incandescents and LEDs and fluorescents. Okay, so if you're going to use any lighting, I would really recommend using LEDs. I'm under LEDs right now. They are blue light. They're 5400K. That's the color. That is a blue LED or a white LED, and they make everything look really good. They're also they could be referred to as natural light, so look for those. So the other thing is just take your time. Once you get started, it might be a little time consuming to get started, but it's pretty easy. Now, one last tip is don't use the Amazon Seller app to take your photos. Some people do this, but see, any modern phone, and I don't have my phone on me right this second because I'm recording this, any modern phone, the phone sensor, the camera sensor, they're actually all pretty much the same. Okay, iPhones, I have a Pixel 3 XL, Samsung, any modern-ish flagship phone of the last about 4 to 5 years will pretty much have the same sensor. But what is different between each one that makes some cameras way better than others is the software. Well, the Amazon Seller app doesn't use your phone's native software. And there's some other problems, and I'll show you those in a minute. So, and basically it makes its white background by turning up the brightness until something happens. Don't do that, it's bad. I'm going to show you a way better way to do it, and the way we're going to do it is we're going to take the photos with our regular cell phone, then we're going to edit them using Canva, which is a freemium piece of software. So I'll show you how to use it for free and how to use a paid version and get really good results. So without further ado, let's dive right in. I already have my stuff set up, but let me get eye level with it so you guys can watch me take some photos. Okay guys, here we are with the beginning of our photography studio for at-home photography. Now, what I want to say is that this is not a professional setup, but we're still going to get professional results. We really will. Now, if somebody goes out there and they invest a lot of money, like myself, I've done that, and I do product photography as a service. So if you ever want me to do product photography for you, like and comment, let me know, and I'll hit you up and we can set this up. But the difference between an amateur setup like this and a professional setup really is just consistency. So I recently did a job where I took photos for a CBD company, and they sent me hundreds of products, this big like 50-pound box, and I took photos of everything. Well, they wanted everything to be super consistent. They wanted everything from the same angle. They wanted, everything the same lighting and everything. So that was very important to use a professional studio because I could control things very exactly. Okay, I did that in a dark room. Okay, so not a room with windows, no natural light got in the room. I was able to control everything and get no variables. This, you're not going to be able to do that, but you don't need to do that. For an Amazon listing, you need like 4 pictures. Actually, you really only need 1 picture, but we'll take a few more. In fact, some of these products I'm going to take like 3 or 4 pictures, and that's it. So you don't need super consistency over 100 products. It doesn't matter. But let's dive in here. So I have a old towel, okay, white, okay, and this is important. You want to use a white towel. That's like the important thing. Don't use any other color for the background. It'll mess you up. And I'm just using this stack of cardboard boxes here that I should take out with the garbage tonight. So we put this up, and what's important to us, okay, it doesn't really matter. You may notice here my backdrop here is, it's not as clean as it could be. It's been sitting around in my closet for forever. And it's not flat, okay? I could iron this. Doesn't matter. We're still going to get good results, okay? What we want is we want to have a smooth transition from flat to back. Actually, I usually use a chair for this, okay? I'm doing this up here because this makes better video. I'm doing this for, video's sake. But if you really want to do this, just use a chair. And if you use a chair with a cushion, put a book on top of the cushion, and then you won't have any problem with stuff falling off, okay? So we want to make sure we have this back where it's kind of an infinity back. That's what that's called, okay? And then we're going to put down some paper. Now, I don't have any printer paper at my house, so I'm using a wholesale price list. And you know what? We're still going to get good pictures. I promise. This works. So we got that. We got that. Okay, so let's take our first few photos. So I got some coffee. This is really good coffee, by the way. If you're a coffee fan, try it out. So let me turn this light up just a little bit. So I am using a ring light, but it is casting some light here on the product. I mostly wanted myself to look good. That's really what I'm worried about. But what we want to do here is, if I was taking this in a house, like normally where I didn't have a giant ring light, I would want to have some lights over here. And you would want to have them off to the sides. And you also want to have overhead light. That's very important. I have an overhead light on. So let's, we'll leave it like that. Now, let me pull up my app. There's a couple quick modifications you really want to make to your app for your photograph. So there's a couple quick mods that you want to make to your camera app that will help you take better photos. So firstly, if you like and subscribe this channel, you'll actually take better photos. It's a scientific fact I just made up, but it's science, guys. But you want some sort of grid line on your camera, okay? So the way we do this on an Android phone is there's a little drop down up at the top, and we go down to our settings, and then we could set our different grid types. I'm going to use let's do a 4x4 grid. I'm just using a 4x4 grid. It's arbitrary. You figure out what you like, okay? And we want that because if we don't use a grid like that, we could end up taking skewed photos, which is bad, okay? You don't want to have to edit your photos at all. This way, we're not going to have to. So we have our product there. It is on a piece of paper. We have a white backdrop to it. Now we can actually see the lines that we're taking the photos with, okay? Let's take it this way. Actually, we can take it upside down. One of the things about my camera is the lens is right here, and if I hold it up here, I'm actually above the product, okay? So I could put my camera down if I wanted to, but I take a lot of my photos upside down just because I kind of use my hand here as a tripod, and then once I get it focused, my thumb is right there. So there's a tip. Take your photos upside down. It's really easy to rotate a photo. In fact, my Pixel automatically rotates it for me. It detects that the phone's upside down and it makes it right side up. Really nice. So I line it up with the grids. Nice and straight. And boom. And you always just want to take a few photos, even if you're not going to use them. It's easier to delete a photo than not have a photo you want. And you want to be right in the middle. So I want to be from top to bottom, right in the middle. So right about here is where I want to be taking my photos. Okay, and remember, you also can adjust the brightness for on your camera. You can do that. I know you can do that on any phone, really. I do that in editing. I don't like to do that while I'm taking the photo. And also, not everybody knows this. You can use your down volume button to take a photo. Okay, so I do that a lot once I get it held. Now, one thing that could help you would be to use something like this, where I have a book. Okay, but I'm now too low. Okay, but that will work. Let's get some more photos here. Yeah. Well, it looks great. Okay. Now, let's rotate this because we got some writing over here. We want to get a photo of that. Okay. And then we got this back area here where we got the UPC and everything. Let's get a photo of that. I'm taking this at a slight angle. Now it's dead on. Now at an opposite angle. Let's get one over here. So it's a little tricky about this product. It's not the greatest product to photograph because the jar isn't round. It's like a decahedral or something like that. And also remember, we can take photos sideways. Nothing wrong with that. Okay, that's all we gotta do, guys. That's it. We just took good enough photos for this. Now let me adjust this just a little bit so I get a little bit better lighting here, because I really don't have great lighting in my kitchen. And let me just take one more of the front just so that I have it complete. Okay, real good. Now, another pro tip, besides of course liking and subscribing to this channel, is if you're going to take a bundle photo. So I'm going to make this a 2-pack when we go and edit them. And Snowball, keep your black cat off your white background. Nope. Sit down, bud. Okay, good. We will compromise and you can be right there. So, a lot of people when they go to make a multi-pack listing, they'll do 1 and 2. Don't do that. It's horrible to photograph that way. Okay, you want to edit it together. It's always better. I'll show you guys exactly how to do it. So we got good enough photos for this. Now books are super easy. I just figured I'd include this just because people ask about how to take pictures of books all the time. Perfect. So, let's do this. Now, this is going to be a little challenging. And we have a lot going on with this. So one of the things that not everybody's aware with grocery is you need to have a photo of all sides of the product. Okay, and I don't know that that's necessarily a grocery requirement, but you want to have photos of all sides of the product, and then you need to have the ingredients and the nutrition facts as their own photo, very, very clear. So, if you are willing to ruin one of your products, the easiest way really to do this, that I do all the time, is I take a razor blade, I cut it out, run it through a document scanner. Perfect. Or you can do that, with a flatbed scanner or whatever. And I mean, if it was like a flat box, that's real easy to, put on a document scanner or whatever. But we're not going to do that. We're going to use our phones and scan this. So let's get our front photos here. Let's get the product nice and laid out. Now, one thing we can do, we always can take the photo this way. Okay, that's always an option. And one of the things that this could be really good for would be like taking photos of candy, especially candy in bags. So we line it up. Got some great photos. Now, I really do prefer, though, to take my photos of stuff like this standing up. You can do it either way, but it's a stylized choice. So let's move this just a little bit. Okay, we got two really good photos. Let's turn it around. Awesome. Okay, we definitely got some good photos here. Let me try this front again, and I want to flatten it out. I'm going to rotate it just a little bit. Let me turn my ring light off. I'm going to turn the ring light back on just a little bit. I got a little light, or a little dark in here. Okay, perfect. Okay, so I got some really good ones at the front, some really good ones at the back. Now let's take care of this, these product details we need. So what I'm going to use is I'm going to use software here. It is a free app called Simply Scanner. Is it right? Simple Scan. Okay, it's free. I mean, it's freemium, but I use the free version. Snowball, you are being incorrigible. Okay, so it is a scanning app. So we, that's not what I want. Oh my god. Okay, there we go. So we'd use this. We want to get the info we need as flat as possible. We want to get as dead on with it as possible. Just the slightest little glare right there. Okay, so the way that Simple Scan works is we pull up the image and we can use their selector to select what we are scanning, and then it'll flatten it out for us. Make everything nice. And we want to make sure to include the ingredients. Okay, so it looks like that after we select everything. Might not. I'll take a screenshot of it. Why am I holding a camera up? I'll just take a screenshot. Select it, and we get really super legible ingredients. Okay, I'm going to shoot that over to myself in an email. So we just got these, and we'll do these as a 4-pack, let's say. Let's see if Snowball will let me take a picture of the hardest thing here, which is a color change Barbie. Okay, ooh, sorry, bub. So this is going to be a little tricky because it's so tall. It's kind of tricky to take pictures of tall things. But let's try it. And again, this is where the lines come in. Oh, I got it. Perfect. One of the tricks sometimes when people make new listings is they don't take photos. These are all the warnings on the side. You want to make sure you got those in the listing. Just a little tip. Make sure you get back far enough. And I'll take one more. Turn off the ring light. See, that's the thing. Now it's too dark in here. My kitchen's kind of a little dark. So we could lean it forward just a little bit, and that would reduce the glare quite a bit. But no, I think that that'll do it. That'll be perfect. There's some straight. And then let me take one picture of Snowball. Because of course he's the best. He's the best. Okay, so listen, like and subscribe. I always appreciate it. Next video, I'm going to show you guys how to edit these and make Amazon listings with these. We're going to actually use these photos that I just took. Okay, guys, I look forward to this. Talk to you in a minute.